Next up, we'll talk a bit about dream sharing. She has a pretty big chapter in here talking about how useful of a thing that can be to do to meet up with other dreamers and share your dreams and hear their dreams back and get inspired, for your own practice and stuff like that. But for me, that is just something that doesn't really interest me, which I kind of just stumbled into this fact actually when I was first getting in, taking my dream practice seriously and trying to find like-minded people here locally. I went on to meetup.com, and there is a ton of meetup groups, with like dream sharing groups. You can meet up and you can share your dreams and meet other dreamers and stuff like that. And I was always really excited, like, to go to them. I didn't go to all that many, probably like less than 10, but 6 or 7 of these things. I was always like really excited to go, but every time I went there and showed up, unless I was having like, on the side one-on-one conversations with people, which I always love those. But when we're all like there in a big circle and just going around the table one by one, sharing each other's dreams, I don't know, man. I was like turned off by it. It seemed like I either thought everybody was like lying or they were just like pumping it up to make it seem more fantastical than it really was, or their just interpretation of it was, outside of the realm of what I, was kind of comfortable with at the time, where, I've opened the door up more to maybe, I am interacting with some astral being in some other dimension or something like that. But at first, man, I was like fucking closed off to that shit. So when people would kind of go that route with it, I was just like, never mind. Eyes glaze over, zone out, and think about something else. That's not to say, even like on my personal channel, right? I spent the first like year and a half, 2 years or so, like never sharing my own personal dreams. I just didn't really even care to do it, coming from my point of view. I just didn't really feel like anybody would even care or really want to hear that. Although at a certain point, I started understanding people really did actually want to hear that. And now I do, actually enjoy sharing my own dreams, which, sharing your own dreams can be fun, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's fun to hear other people's dreams. And this quote here from Alison Booth, who's an English professional who specializes in narrative theory, basically gets at that. And I'd never really thought about it like this, but when she brings it up like that, I think this is what I was feeling when I was hearing other people's dreams. It's hard to feel invested in another person's dream. You don't have any stake in it. You know from the outset that the story ends with the dreamer waking up in bed unscathed. The teller of the dream has a listener who inherently doesn't really care because it's the teller's dream and the listener is hearing something kind of egotistical. How are we to imagine we are the dreamer when we hear about it? Whereas in fiction, rule number 1 is you are the reader and you have every right to be at the center of the story / imagine yourself as the protagonist. And I think that kind of sums up pretty well how I feel about it, although I understand it can be a very useful thing to do. And I've definitely heard other people's dreams occasionally that really, hit me for whatever reason. And then, it ends up having like, I end up having a really awesome lucid dream based off of it. So I 100% agree it can be very useful. Just for some reason, I have like, I got to be like in the right mood to be really listening to shit like that.